All right, laser community, I've seen your comments. You're tired of being teased about this thing. And that's why, with a little musical help from our AI overlords, I made this for you.
Prepare yourselves to get a quick glimpse into the potential of the all-new Xtool F1 Ultra.
Xtool sent me all of this gear to gather feedback and likely to drive sales, but I'm going to tell you right now, that's not my goal. If you're watching this, then you're already supporting me. To show that I really mean it, eventually this whole setup here will end up with one of you. You're safe here, no sales pitch. And that's why you won't find me begging you to go to the video description to use my affiliate links. This channel is just a place for me, a laser nerd, to geek out over some new laser tech with the hopes to educate, inspire everyone watching to keep on creating. Xtool's marketing department is gonna hate me for this, but out of respect for you and your time, today we're gonna start with the price. So here it is, the Xtool F1 Ultra. Is currently on sale, coming in with 3 different packages and starts at $4,000. Now, I will never recommend anyone taking out a loan, but they do have a firm, which I used back in 2018 to purchase my first CNC, and if you have good credit, you can land a 0% interest rate. I am no financial advisor, but if you don't have the money for it, don't do it. Also, don't forget about the more affordable F1, and it starts at just $1,400. All right, to the remaining 5% of you, congratulations! You made it to the secret giveaway, and your odds are looking pretty good. You might have already caught the secret code word, and if you did, leave a comment with that word, and you'll have a chance to receive this brand new RA2 Pro Rotary. If you didn't catch it yet, no worries, it will be a lot more obvious later on. Also, congratulations to Bobby Young, the Cannonball Contest winner from my last video, where, if you missed it, I bought a swimming pool off of Amazon and turned it into a classy paradise for me and my family. Bobby, your laser is on its way. Xtool continues to impress me with their unboxing experiences. Everything was packaged extremely well, and I can tell there is thought behind its presentation, way beyond just getting it out of the box. To my delight, there is no assembly required. This is everything that comes with the basic package here. I also have the Conveyor upgrade, which we will see doing some magic later on. I also have their large air purifier. This is a great option for anyone that won't be able to vent out of a window or might not want to let their climate-controlled air out of their home or their workshop. Here is a listen to how quiet it is when it's running.
It's a variable speed, feels pretty powerful, and that is only 25%. Full power.
And it is much more powerful than I thought it would be. The replaceable filters will eventually clog up with laser debris, but I found that you can take the filters outside and use some compressed air or a leaf blower to clean them out. Just make sure you don't breathe that stuff in. I also got a foot switch and a push button like you would find on an industrial laser. With these, you can quickly restart your laser job. These would be great if you had a large production run to do, but you can also do this by double tapping the big green button on the touchscreen. I used my laptop with a USB cable to get it connected to my home Wi-Fi. After that, I ran everything wirelessly and I never had any issues with it dropping out. They also have a really great app for mobile devices too. The F1 came with this corner bracket with these tool-free bolts, which I love. The competition needs to take note. Tool-free is the way to go. This little guy helps you with repeat placements and making sure your items are perfectly square and lined up each time. In just 30 minutes, I had everything unpacked, set up, and ready to go. If your machine does encounter any trauma during transit, with the built-in camera, Xtool has developed an easy calibration process that can realign your two built-in lasers at the same time with just a few clicks, making it the most maintenance-free machine out there. What all has Xtool managed to get into this compact machine? If you've seen the smaller F1, you'd be familiar with the look and design, but let's imagine the F1 Ultra as a supercharged F1, with twice the working area and blue laser power, a built-in camera, and an astonishing 10 times the infrared laser power. 20 watts of blue laser at 455 nanometers, and 20 watts of fiber laser at 1064 nanometers. The distinction between the two is really what's important here. With these two lasers combined all in one machine, now we can almost do all materials in just one package. You can even have it switch between the two lasers in just one job. I found the fiber laser was giving me the best dark results on stainless steel, but the blue laser was giving me the ability to achieve different colors like blues, yellows, and reds. So that combination was giving me great results on my Fallout themed tumbler that you'll see a little bit more in detail later on. We call this style of laser a galvo laser, as it uses a mirror attached to a motor up in the laser head. And it can direct the laser beam down with extreme precision to this huge 8.66-inch squared laser working area, which is twice the size of most standard fiber lasers. With this galvo, the F1 Ultra can achieve an insane speed of 10,000 millimeters a second, or 22 miles per hour. That's almost as fast as your standard house cat, which my brain simply cannot comprehend. So let me just have it run a score at that speed in real time, so we can see it for ourselves. Wait up, hold on. Before I start running this laser, I must disclaim that I'm going to be running this laser in ways not intended by Xtool, for filming purposes only. Anytime the shield can be down, it should be, and if not, you should be wearing the appropriate safety glasses to protect yourself and others from permanent eye damage. Okay, back to the speed test. Whoa! That 4-inch squared image only took 5 seconds to mark. You know I love my gantry style lasers, but I don't think they will ever be able to achieve speeds like this. It has the ability to automatically adjust its focus, or using this really well made and responsive touchscreen. You can manually do it by using the up and down arrows. Once the red and blue dots touch, you are at the focal point. The camera has some great benefits like for the calibration, smart fill, and using the Conveyor batch processing, but I was weary of its accuracy, so I thought I would run a test. I randomly placed cotton swabs around the laser, even near the edges of the laser area, where camera distortion normally occurs. I ran a test and I was shocked how it struck each cotton swab without missing. After refreshing the camera, I could get an idea of how accurate it really was. It's not perfect, but it didn't miss these tiny targets. As an old school laser user, I normally ignore the camera functions, but I'll say it. I am impressed. Alright, now let's put this machine to the real test and get some actual products made, so we can see what all it can really do. And I'll throw my stopwatch in there as much as I can remember so we can see how fast it really is. As I show the laser working, I'll do my best to share my settings, but do know that Xtool software is equipped with an extensive and growing library of materials and test results, where you can go in, filter by your laser, and select from their recommended settings and import them directly into your project. So no more fear of wasting your materials or keeping track of your own library of laser settings. I'm going to use their AI art generator to create a flat graphic of a mountain for my slate coaster. You can stick with a camera, or with a galvo laser, you can also frame out your design in real time to line things up perfectly. You can frame it out as a rectangle, or you can frame out the entire outline like you see here. Let's run the blue laser at 1000 millimeters a second, 100% power, and see how it goes. Wow! That finished in just 42 seconds. And based on these results, I bet I could run it even faster. Alright, Xtool just added a new mode called Embossment. With this, you can take any depth map images or create your own in their software. Jason, their CEO, demonstrated this in their YouTube Live, where you can use their AI art tool to create a simple image, then convert it into a depth map image. You can even preview it in 3D so you can really see what your results will look like. I'm impressed that you can do all of this in their free software. I heard Jason say it in a live that they have a team of nearly 200 software engineers.
We have nearly 200 people.
Oh, wow.
With that, I now know why Xtool Creative Space is becoming so powerful and how they're doing it so quickly. Lightburn, are you okay? With Emboss or Deboss, it will laser many layers down, creating a relief engraving into your material. Now, this first one did take 154 minutes, and I didn't prepare my image perfectly, so it has these little artifact bumps. But since my image is of a tiki man, I think the result is still pretty good. Later on, I'll do more on some brass coins, and the results will blow you away. Now, let's set up the rotary attachment and get spinning. I didn't even realize it until I saw Justin Laser's video, but apparently there is a new RA2 Pro. They call it the Plus. It has a center finding laser, an adjustable angle chuck, and some other goodies. I guess Xtool doesn't like me as much as they like Justin, since I didn't get one. So I'll just be using my old RA2 Pro today. But thankfully, they do sell an add-on kit for just $79. So I guess I'll just buy my own. The bed of the Ultra has these marks that you can use for lining up your RA2 Pro to keep it parallel and in the center. You'll have to excuse my revived obsession with Fallout. It's a game I used to play back in the day, but with Amazon turning it into a TV series, it will be the inspiration for a lot of the designs that I came up with for these cups and mugs. I did some testing on this white-coated metal mug, and I like the results that I got from the blue light laser at 100% power, 150 speed, and 100 lines per centimeter. It comes out looking awful, but with a quick wipe down with LA's Totally Awesome, it cleans up quite good. But you will see the white did get some yellowing. So here is a pro tip for you. I'll take some Dawn soap, wipe it on with a paper towel, and coat the surface, and run the same settings again. You'll see this time when I go to clean it, there is no yellowing, as the soap film protected the white from the laser residue. And now I have myself a nice Fallout-themed travel mug. I also have this plastic travel cup, and with the IR, I hear you can engrave plastics, so let's give it a go. I forgot to weld my shapes together, so it's engraving in a strange way, but it's still finished in just 2.5 minutes. And the color and texture at this setting was really neat. It was almost like it had a concrete feel and look to it. I'm doing a ceramic mug this time, so I'll start off by spraying it with some Surmark. This engraving was done with a blue laser, and it only took 2 minutes and 50 seconds. After a quick wipe down, you're left with a great looking mug. And if you're wondering what special stands for, it's strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, and luck, which are all stats in the game that you can level up. I was curious if you could engrave on a flower pot, and to my surprise, yes you can. I engraved a little aloe vera pun on the side of it, and it was ready to go. I did some extensive testing with some stainless steel and found that you can achieve different colors using the blue light laser. I used the Vault Boy image again and tried to color him in. Since I didn't use proper hold downs, the steel warped from the heat of the laser, skewing my results, but I figured the stainless steel tumbler would be able to handle the heat, so I tried it on that. I think I was a little too ambitious with how many different shades I was trying to get. If I had kept it simpler, the overall coloring would have came out much better. But with some practice, I could see how you could come up with some incredible designs using this technique. Next, I tried some ring engraving. The alignment was my fault, but it's crazy how fast this 20-watt fiber laser can dig into the stainless steel. Finally, I'm going to show you how they engrave the inside of rings. All you gotta do is tilt it up at an angle so you can get your laser on the inside, and be sure you remember to mirror your image, as now that you're on the inside, it will be rotating in the opposite direction. Once you wipe it clean, the results are incredible. Now let's set up the conveyor and see what this upgrade can do. To attach it, you just put this bracket onto the laser bed. I wish it was tool-free, but these tiny screwdrivers are definitely nicer than those standard L-shaped hex keys. But in the future, I would like Xtool to consider using the same captured bolts as they used on the L bracket that goes on the laser bed, so we don't have to worry about losing these bolts or keeping up with these tiny tools. Let's test out that magical automatic batch feature. With this, you can put your design on any similarly shaped items and start the process. It will engrave onto the shapes that it recognizes using the camera and its smart software. Regardless of the angle or placement, it will automatically engrave the design and auto-advance the conveyor so that you can continue to feed the conveyor belt while it works. And it will drop the finished pieces off at the end of the conveyor. For me, sometimes it would let a few items pass through without attempting to engrave them, but I rather it skip an item it's not sure about than try to engrave it and miss. And I could just grab the items it did not attempt and put them back on the conveyor where it would get it on the second attempt. But what's really cool is it recognizes the unique shape of these keychains. So depending on if the key ring was to the right or to the left, the engraving always came out the correct way. And out of the 20 engravings, there was only one that had a noticeable alignment issue. And remember, this is still in beta. It will only get better from here. With the conveyor, you can also do very long engravings, up to 19.68 inches. But I believe Xtool could increase this amount with a software update, allowing us to utilize some rollers, which could unlock the ability to engrave unlimited lengths. To test this out, I have this big pizza peel, and it finished in only 12.5 minutes. It wasn't as dark as I had hoped, so I was able to run it through a second time at just 600 millimeters a second, and this took 15 minutes. And if you're paying close enough attention, I don't think I'll have to say the secret word for your chance to win the RA2 Pro Rotary. I don't do much photorealistic engravings, but I figured we should check that out. So I asked AI to generate an image of an old man with a lot of wrinkles, so we could really test out the image quality. Now with this black scratch paper, you just want to remember to invert your image. My settings are 90 dot duration, 30% power, and 300 dots per inch with Jarvis. And it blew me away with the amount of detail it achieved, and it only took 5 minutes to complete. Let's take a close-up look at that 300 dots per inch that the IR laser was able to perform. I then asked AI to generate an image of my hairless cat, Norman, and the results were shockingly similar. I wanted to see how fast we could go, so I changed the settings to just 30 dot duration at 100% power. 2 minutes and 52 seconds later, it wasn't as bright as I wanted, so I did send it back through for a second pass. And comparing the two, I'll definitely say that the results on the old man are definitely looking better. I was really enjoying these, so I did one more, of a relief of a skull. The ceiling fan in the room was moving it a bit, causing some mist lines at the bottom, but even with that, it still looks pretty impressive. I put my logo on some brass-coated coins, a PU leather hat patch, and some aluminum business cards, which I found out could be cut out at 100% power, 100 millimeters a second, with just 10 passes. You just gotta bend it a little bit and it tears right out. I saw these brass wax stamps, which I saw some others use, and you can use them to press into wax and you can use them to seal up your envelopes, which is super elegant and nice, but I had another idea for it. So I engraved my logo mirrored with the emboss mode. This took 1 hour and 56 minutes. Then I ran a few passes at 1000 millimeters a second to clean it up. Once finished, I heated it up with my blowtorch and pressed it down into this hard maple block. It came out way better than I expected. Even the tiny text for the website is legible. With the Ultra only weighing 32 pounds or 14.7 kilograms, it makes it really easy to move around, which is perfect for vendor events. Or like me, you could even bring it out camping in your own backyard. I saw someone in the comments ask if the Ultra would be able to run off of a battery pack like we've been seeing sponsored in everyone's videos. Please, relax. This is not sponsored. I paid for this EcoFlow out of my own pocket. It is only a 256 watt-hour battery, so it's nice and small and easy to carry at only 7.7 pounds or 3.5 kilograms. I also bought this portable solar panel to go with it. It's rated at 60 watts. No matter how hot the sun was shining, I couldn't get it to go over 50 watts of power input. But I believe I could add one more array
to achieve at least 100 watts of input power from the sun, which would be pretty cool. So with this, let's go off-grid and test it out with the Ultra and see what we can do. At idle, the Ultra is only drawing 21 watts, so I believe it's saying it could keep it on for 6 hours without the sun. With the sun, I should be able to run it indefinitely without the laser running. But let's do a slate coaster and see what it draws. The wattage is jumping around a bit on the coaster, but it is averaging around 80 watts and estimating about 2 hours of runtime. So with each coaster taking 40 seconds, theoretically without the sun, I could maybe engrave 180 coasters with just this small battery pack. With the solar working, I bet I would probably be able to double that at 360 coasters. Or if I had 2 solar arrays, I could run it indefinitely as long as the sun is shining and bringing in at least 80 watts of power. There is something kind of special about taking the energy from the sun and using it to power this laser machine. Alright, I got a little too hot down there in the sun, so let's head up to the pool for some shade. Let's max out the power of the laser now and see how it does off-grid in that case. I'll do an embossing on a solid brass coin. With that running, we are averaging 125 watts of output power from the battery pack. And the clouds decided to show up, so at the moment it is saying it will only last 1 hour, starting from 86%. I'm not sure if this engraving will finish or not. The sun eventually came back, and now it's saying we should expect to have at least 2 hours of runtime left. But I'm not sure how long these coins will take, as this was before Xtool released the newest update with their now estimated laser working times in the preview. This battery pack does have an app so I can monitor it from my phone, which is a nice feature. I wonder what will happen if it does go out in the middle of the engrave. Will the machine be able to start back up if the power goes out? The coin did eventually finish, and thankfully it only took 1 hour and 45 minutes, leaving the battery pack with 23% battery life still. On the coin, I ran a few cleaning passes, but I don't think I have my settings figured out quite yet. I sanded it with some 3000 grit sandpaper, but I also used these buffing pads and my drill, which really brought out the definition of the dragon. I have the battery pack recharging, and it's saying it will be at 100% after 6 hours of sunlight. Or if I plug it into a wall outlet, I believe it can recharge in just 1 hour. Now, since the battery didn't fail and we did not get to see what happens if the laser loses power, I wanted to test that out anyways.
Plugging it back in. Here we go. Looks like there is just a tiny little line that it's missing. Other than that, that's an incredible feature. I'll tell you what, I have a CNC, and when you lose the power to that thing, it forgets everything. You just have to scrap the project and start completely over. Way to go, Xtool. I approve.
I ran the Dragon again at just 150 millimeters a second to see if I could get a darker contrast, and it came out looking amazing. It did take 3 hours and 23 minutes though, but after cleaning it up with the drill, take a look at that.
What do you think about that?
Oh, neat.
I ran one more Dragon coin, but this time I inverted the image so it would be a debossing, I believe. I ran this one at 200 millimeters a second, and it took 2 hours. I did the same as before. I cleaned it up with the drill, and here is a look at it. Now with all three of them together, here you can see the contrast you can get, depending on how fast you run it. On the far left, we ran it at 300 millimeters a second. The middle, we did 200 millimeters a second, and the far right, we did 150 millimeters a second.
Xtool is still working on more software updates, so we still have more to see, especially that curved surface engraving. And I have a feeling there are some features that are in the works that we haven't even heard about yet. So far, as a guy just nerding out over some new laser tech, the F1 Ultra did not disappoint. I'm impressed. Until next time, be empowered, stay inspired, and keep on creating.